Why do we all grow up thinking buying a house is the ultimate financial goal? It's sold to us as the definition of success. Own a home, settle down, live the dream. But what if I told you buying a house might actually be one of the worst financial decisions you'll ever make? Let's break this down. The biggest reason people think a house is an asset is because it appreciates in value. Sounds great, right? Except it's not entirely true. Houses don't actually grow in value as much as you think. They inflate with time, but most of that so-called appreciation is eaten up by maintenance costs, taxes, and interest payments. Think about it. If you buy a $400,000 house, you don't just pay $400,000. By the time you're done with your 30-year mortgage, you might end up paying almost double that amount because of interest. And during those 30 years, property taxes, insurance, repairs, renovations, these are constant money drains that most people ignore when bragging about how much their home is worth now. Now let's talk about opportunity cost, the silent killer of your wealth. When you tie up hundreds of thousands of dollars in a house, that money is locked away. It's not working for you. Instead of being invested in stocks, index funds, or a business that could give you 8 to 10% returns, your money is sitting in bricks and drywall, giving you maybe 3 to 4% growth at best if you're lucky. And don't forget liquidity. Real estate is one of the most illiquid assets you can own. If you need cash fast, good luck selling your house overnight. You're stuck with an asset that can take months or even years to unload depending on the market. Meanwhile, the bank is making money off you every single month. Why do you think banks love to give out mortgages? Because they're getting guaranteed returns for decades. The real winner in your dream home story isn't you, it's the lender. And let's bust another myth. Renting is throwing money away. No, it's not. Rent is the cost of flexibility. It's freedom from maintenance headaches, property taxes, and massive debt. For many people, renting and investing the difference is far smarter than buying a home they can barely afford. Here's something most people never calculate: the true cost of ownership. Everyone looks at the mortgage payment and says, I can afford $2,000 a month. But the mortgage is just the beginning. Add property taxes. Depending on where you live, that can be thousands of dollars every year. Then there's homeowner's insurance, which can be anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 annually. And don't forget maintenance. Roofs leak, plumbing fails, HVAC systems break. Experts suggest budgeting 1 to 3% of the home's value per year for maintenance. On a $400,000 house, that's $4,000 to $12,000 every single year, just to keep the place standing. Then there are renovations and upgrades. You think you'll buy a house and leave it as is? No way. Styles change, appliances break, and suddenly you're spending tens of thousands on a kitchen remodel because the old one looks dated. You're not building wealth, you're spending it. Now let's factor in mortgage interest. In the early years, most of your payment doesn't even go toward the principal. It goes to the bank. If you take out a $400,000 loan at a 6% interest rate for 30 years, by the end, you've paid over $460,000 in interest alone. So that $400,000 house actually costs you $860,000 or more. Still sound like a great investment? And here's the kicker. People often justify this by saying, but real estate always goes up in value. Really? Let's talk about the housing crash of 2008, where millions of people lost everything because their safe investment tanked overnight. Real estate can and does fall in value, especially when markets are overheated or interest rates spike. If you lose 20% on a stock portfolio, you can recover relatively quickly. Lose 20% on a house? That could wipe out your entire down payment and leave you underwater on your mortgage for years. Plus, buying a house ties you down. Most people underestimate the cost of losing flexibility. What if you get a better job in another city? Selling a house isn't like canceling a lease. It can take months, and during that time, you're paying 2 housing costs: your old mortgage and your new renter mortgage. That can devastate your finances. The truth is, a house isn't just a financial decision, it's an emotional one. People feel pressure to buy because society says renting is temporary, like you're not successful unless you own. But if we strip away the emotions and look purely at the numbers, buying a house is often one of the worst financial decisions for the average person. So, after all of this, why do people still buy houses? Social pressure and emotional marketing. We've been conditioned to believe that homeownership equals success, stability, and status. But in reality, it often equals debt, stress, and lost opportunities.